has seen American troop withdrawal, disintegration of Afghan regime, Taliban takeover, resulting in unstable political situation in Afghanistan. Actually, Pakistan is facing a tough choice. Western, Danish, and Afghani media were blaming Pakistan for this debacle in Afghanistan and even going so far as saying that Pakistan has been helping Taliban to win the war. The team of Radio Hamwatan and TV NayDunya is with Ambassador of Pakistan, His Excellency Ahmad Farooq, to discuss how Pakistan is dealing with this development in Afghanistan and what Pakistan's role would be. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for giving us time. The international community is watching and waiting. People are worried. What is Pakistan's official stance on this whole situation in Afghanistan now?
Thank you very much, Bashy Saab, and Radio Hamwatan and NayDunya TV for giving me this opportunity. Well, this is obviously the hottest issue right now.
Yes.
And Pakistan has been facing this situation now for the last 4 decades, and our position has been always consistent when it comes to Afghanistan, that there is no military solution to this crisis, to this conflict, and eventually we need to find a political settlement. So this has been now acknowledged by the international community, and there are many world leaders, including the US President and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, who also have recently stated that there was no military solution. The only solution is a political settlement, and that is what Pakistan has been supporting in the past, and we will continue to support in the future as well.
Then the question comes that before the Taliban took over on 15th of August, the perception was different. But today, as you yourself mentioned, most world leaders are calling the Prime Minister of Pakistan and the government of Pakistan and praising Pakistan for their help. Why this change of mind all of a sudden?
Well, you are aware that the situation in Afghanistan deteriorated very rapidly over the last 3 weeks. And while the international community was planning its exit from Afghanistan, they did not anticipate that the government in Kabul would fall this quickly. And when that happened, they still had a lot of diplomatic and other personnel based in Kabul, with whom they wanted to evacuate. And obviously, Pakistan has been one of the countries that has been used for transit to Afghanistan. And a request was made by a number of countries to Pakistan to assist them in the evacuation of their personnel. Pakistan has come forward, and we are offering our assistance to all the countries that have made a request to us, and this has been acknowledged by them. I would say the Prime Minister of Denmark and the Foreign Minister of Denmark, they reached out to Prime Minister Imran Khan and Foreign Minister Quraishy, and they have thanked us for the support that we are providing them in this operation, which is ongoing.
You mentioned Danish Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister. It's the first time I've seen that both of them on their Facebook and also press conferences and publicly has acknowledged Pakistan's help to them. It has never happened before. Are you satisfied with that?
The Prime Minister, Ahmad Farooq, she made a statement through her Twitter handle yesterday, which was a very positive statement acknowledging the support which Pakistan is providing, and she highly appreciated it. I think we are quite happy that the effort that Pakistan is making in supporting Denmark and other countries is being acknowledged.
You have, as an ambassador of Pakistan, played a vital role in whole this process, especially in relation with Denmark. Was it a difficult process, or it went smoothly?
Well, the developments in Afghanistan were quite unexpected. Nobody was thinking that, there were different estimates that Kabul would fall in 90 days or 30 days, but it happened in maybe 90 hours.
Yes.
So obviously, at the beginning, there were challenges in suddenly creating this mechanism for the evacuation of so many people. But in a matter of a couple of days, all the mechanisms have been set up, and now I think the operation is proceeding quite smoothly.
Mr. Ambassador, Pakistan has consistently emphasized that there was no solution to Afghanistan by fighting. The peace can only be achieved with political, negotiation. Why USA and NATO did not listen to Pakistan?
Well, I think over the years there was a lack of clarity in the Western Alliance of what they wanted to achieve in Afghanistan. Whether it was the elimination of terrorist safe havens, or whether it was to build a society in Afghanistan based on Western values and on a Western model of democracy. And I think this was one of the reasons why this conflict persisted for so long. But as soon as the Trump administration took over in the United States, I think they favored, they wanted to reduce US military commitments internationally. And that was the first time when somebody really questioned that why are we in Afghanistan for this long? And they came to this conclusion, and they sought Pakistan's assistance in reaching out to the Taliban so that they are able to negotiate with them as one of the players in Afghanistan. And Pakistan readily offered that assistance.
And Taliban listened to Pakistan?
Well, there is a lot of misperception about how much influence Pakistan has on the Taliban. There was, we would say, a limited degree of influence, which we brought into play by bringing the Taliban to the negotiating table. But what has happened after is Pakistan doesn't have anything to do with it. Okay. The talks happened between the US and the Taliban. And whatever agreements were made by them. Yes.
Taliban regime, when they came to power in 1996, they made a lot of mistakes. And now, in their press conference a few days back, they have promised many new things. For example, they said that it will rule with consent with other people. The women will have right to work, girls' education. They have given a total amnesty. So these are new tunes coming from Taliban. And people are still skeptical. Do you think that Taliban has learned their lesson?
Well, Pakistan is not a spokesperson for the Taliban. And like others, we are also waiting and watching. These are positive statements that have come from them, and we welcome it. But at the same time, like others, we have to see if these statements are followed by actual actions, and we would like that to happen.
Okay. In Pakistan's view, coming back to Pakistan, achieving a long-time peace and stability in Afghanistan is very important. Prime Minister Imran Khan has many times said that the country which will be affected most will be Pakistan. Do you think that there is also still a danger that Afghanistan can fall into a kind of chaos or a civil war?
Well, we have said it repeatedly, the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, that we want a government, an inclusive government in Afghanistan. So that means that all factions should have a representation in that, and that is perhaps the only way to achieve a peaceful Afghanistan. We have always been very concerned about the use of Afghan territory for the purposes of terrorism against Pakistan. There are still several thousand of Taliban Pakistan militants that found refuge in Afghanistan. And there are other terror groups that are also present in Afghanistan. So unless there is a cohesive government there, the instability in the country can continue, which is obviously is not in the interest of Pakistan or any of the neighbors of Afghanistan.
The reason I ask this question is because there is a discussion in Pakistani media and in other places in Indian media that if there comes a civil war, then other external actors can take part. For example, India can instigate, even America can come back, not in the shape of soldier, but maybe help those factions, And that is not good for Pakistan because Prime Minister Imran Khan has also said that international community should move in to help Afghanistan to build the country, and economically it's very important. Do you think it's a good strategy?
Yes, I think, and we as Pakistan, we are already working with other regional countries to see how we can get to an inclusive government in Pakistan. Recently, there was a delegation of Afghan leaders, the non-Taliban leaders, who were visiting Pakistan. So these discussions are ongoing, and we actually, there have been also discussions between the Taliban and other Afghan leaders. So we very much hope that the international community would contribute to such efforts so that we are able to achieve an inclusive government in Afghanistan that is internationally recognized and is not viewed as a pariah government, because that is not in the interest of Pakistan. We don't think it will serve us.
Finally, do you see that this would happen now and Pakistan's help to Denmark and the way Danish politicians have thanked you and also Pakistan government, it will strengthen and make the relationship between Denmark and Pakistan stronger?
I very much hope so. Relations between Pakistan and Denmark are steadily improving. There are a number of areas on which we hope that there will be cooperation in the future, especially some of the areas such as renewable energy or green transition, where Denmark is a world leader. So we are in discussion with your relevant ministries on how further cooperation can be developed between Pakistan and Denmark, and I very much look forward to that.
On this positive note, Ambassador Farooq, thank you very much for giving us time, and the team of Radio Hamwatan and TV NayDunya. I have Shaukat Ali with me, our director Raza Mustafa, and myself. We are grateful for your time. Dear listeners and viewers, that was our heart-to-heart talk with Excellency Ambassador of Pakistan, and we hope that Ambassador has explained many points which Danes are discussing, is being discussed internationally, and I hope that Pakistan's position is much clearer to you, and in future we will make such program on other topics. Take good care of yourself. Khuda Hafiz.